Christmas University Challenge. Asking the questions, Amal Raju.
Hello and welcome to Christmas University Challenge, where two more teams of distinguished alumni are getting ready to rack their brains in the hope of remembering at least some of what they learned for their degrees. They're competing for a place in the semi-finals of this truncated tournament, with qualification guaranteed if they win with a score of at least 175 points. Representing Imperial College London this year are, firstly, a science teacher who is also a stand-up comedian and actor, with recurring roles in the BBC series Man Like Mobeen and Mandy, and as Joe Lycett's sidekick on Channel 4's Joe Lycett's Got Your Back. Their second player is a self-described geek songstress and member of the comedy collective Festival of the Spoken Nerd. Her unique mix of stand-up, music and science features regularly on stage, television and radio, and she's currently working on writing musical theatre shows about women astronauts and teenage jiu-jitsu suffragettes. Their captain is an award-winning science journalist and columnist for a national newspaper, as well as the co-author of the books Selected on the Evolution of Human Leadership and the best-selling Spike on the COVID-19 pandemic, which was shortlisted for the Orwell Prize and the Royal Society Book Prize. Completing the team is a paleontologist at London's Natural History Museum who is a world leader in the study of stegosaurs. She's published more than 60 papers on the Ornithischia group, including descriptions of the oldest known stegosaur and the oldest known ankylosaur. Let's hear them introduce themselves in the usual way.
My name is Mark Silcox. I developed the electrochemiluminescence detection system for electrophoresis on microfabricated glass, open glass channels for my PhD in 2001.
I'm Helen Arney. I studied physics and graduated in the early 2000s.
And their captain?
Hello, I'm Anjana Ahuja, and I graduated in 1993 with a degree in physics and a PhD in space physics.
Hi, I'm Susanna Maidment. I have a degree in geology and I graduated in 2003.
Their opponents tonight have all studied at the University of Liverpool and include, firstly, a computer scientist who holds professorships at Aarhus University, China's Southwest University and the University of York, where he is the anniversary professor of software engineering. He's also editor-in-chief of the journal Formal Aspects of Computing. Next to him is an archaeologist and Egyptologist who is currently a professor at the University of Manchester. Her numerous books include Cleopatra, Last Queen of Egypt, which was a Radio 4 Book of the Week, and Tutankhamun's Curse, which won the Archaeological Institute of America's Felicia A. Holton Award. Their captain began his career in the music industry while studying at Liverpool, playing saxophone in the theatre rock group Deaf School. Since then, he's worked with artists including Gary Newman, Laurie Anderson, the Beach Boys, Wham and Roger Waters as a producer, arranger and saxophonist. Their final player was named a DBE in 2022 for a distinguished career in the education and charity sectors. Her current roles include Chair of the City and Guilds of London Institute and Deputy Chair of the King's Foundation. And she was also the first woman chair of the Scout Association. Let's meet this year's team of Liverpool alumni.
Hello, I'm Jim Woodcock. I graduated in 1980 with a PhD in computation.
Hello, I'm Joyce Tilsley. I graduated in 1981 with a degree in archaeology.
And their captain?
Hi, I'm Ian Ritchie. I studied chemistry at Liverpool and graduated with a BSc in 1975.
Hello, I'm Anne Lim. I read French and graduated in 1975 also.
Well, the rules are the same for you guys as they are for the students. Starter questions are still solo efforts, which you cannot confer on, and they're to be answered on the buzzer, please. They're worth 10 points and the chance for your team to answer a set of 3 bonus questions worth 5 points each, on which you can confer. Fingers on buzzers, here's your first starter for 10. What word links all the following? In genetics, a multicellular organism that contains more than one genetic lineage of cells derived from a single zygote. In cell biology, a word coupled with fluid to describe the characteristics of cellular membranes, and a virus that infects the tobacco plant, among others, leading to a mottled discoloration in its leaves. In more common usage, it describes a type of art that uses small pieces of stone, glass, or... Imperial Ahuja.
Mosaic?
It is mosaic, yes. Your bonuses then, Imperial, are on the best snow levels in video games, according to the website Den of Geek. First released in 2011, which specific game in the Elder Scrolls series includes the mission The Way of the Voice? This requires the player character to climb 7,000 steps in the snow to the monastery High Hrothgar at the top of the throat of the world, the highest point in the land of Tamriel.
I think we could guess something like Zelda. Maybe. Zelda?
Zelda? No, it's Skyrim. Second, a vast crumbling ruin encrusted with snow and ice, forsaken Canehurst Castle, is a location in which 2015 RPG, directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki. The game's main setting is the Gothic city of Yarnam, whose inhabitants are afflicted with a terrible plague.
Oh, do you remember that programme on Netflix about the plague, about the fungal one? Do you remember when everyone was... what is it called?
28 days later? No.
Is it...
the head's bursting apart.
Yeah. Do you remember what it's called?
Come on.
Less of Us.
No, it's Bloodborne. Finally, set in the mountains of West Elizabeth, and the truth will set you free, is the climactic confrontation between John Marston and Dutch van der Linde. In which game of 2010? Its 2018 prequel also notably begins and ends in snowy environments.
Should we say something like Call of Duty?
Go for it.
Call of Duty?
No, the answer is Red Dead Redemption. Now, the starter question. In 1963, Roy Hackett, Owen Henry, Audley Evans, Prince Brown and Paul Stevenson led a campaign in which English city that
Imperial Ahuja.
Bristol?
It is the Bristol bus boycott, yes, well done. Your bonuses, Imperial, are on cricket, specifically Test opening partners of the former England captain Michael Atherton. Over his 12-year Test career, Atherton had 13 opening partners. With which Essex-born England captain did he open 44 times in a partnership described by Wisden as bulldog spirit and cussedness personified?
Nasser Hussain.
We'll try it, but what do you think, Nasser Hussain?
Alex Stewart. Nasser Hussain. I think Nasser Hussain.
OK, Nasser Hussain?
No, that's Graham Gooch. Next, in his final Test in 2001, Atherton opened with which Somerset player? In his 2008 memoir, Coming Back to Me, this batter became one of the first high-profile active cricketers to make public his mental health problems.
I think it's Marcus Trescothick. Yeah. Marcus Trescothick?
Correct. With which Surrey player did Atherton open 50 Test innings? His swashbuckling style has been described as a perfect complement to Atherton's more defensive approach.
Sorry. Jack Sparrow? No, that's...
I think it's probably old. So it's Somerset. So
no,
it'd be
no, he said sorry for this one.
Sorry.
Somerset was the last.
Oh, was it?
One.
OK, sorry.
Alex Stewart? I don't know.
Yeah, we could try that.
Yeah.
Alex Stewart. Should we try Alex Stewart? Alex Stewart?
It is Alex Stewart, yes, yeah. Definitely not Jack Sparrow.
The swashbuckling really put me off.
That was wild, I'll tell you. Anyway, well done. Another starter question now. The Polish composer Henryk Wieniawski is principally associated with what musical instrument? Appointed soloist to the Russian Tsar in 1860, his compositions include 2 concerti for this instrument, and his virtuosity has been likened to that of Paganini.
Liverpool Tildesley.
Violin.
It is the violin, yes. Well done. Your bonuses, Liverpool, are 3 questions on parts of the mouth and surrounding areas. Major examples of what group of exocrine glands include parotid and sublingual?
Nominate Joyce.
Saliva glands.
Yes, it is, yes. The salivary glands is correct. Next, what horseshoe-shaped bone found in the anterior of the neck is unique in that it does not articulate with any other bone in the body?
It's the one they always look for in the detective novels. In the voice box. High.
Any clues?
No, it's hiated.
High something.
Hiated, something like hiated.
Try it.
Nominate Joyce.
Hiated.
Bad luck. No, it's not quite close enough. It's hyoid.
Hyoid.
Bad luck. What part of the mouth is composed of gustatory cells? An average adult has between 2,000 and 10,000 of these structures in their mouth.
The tongue?
The tongue.
The tongue?
The tongue.
No, I can't accept that, I'm afraid. The answer we were after was taste buds, and I did say that an average adult has between 2,000 and 10,000. Another starter question now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a map, and for 10 points, just name the city marked.
Imperial Army.
Edinburgh?
No. Liverpool, you want to buzz? You can, don't prefer.
Liverpool Woodcock.
Glasgow.
No, it's Stirling. We'll take your picture bonuses in a moment. Let's start a question. The 1880 paper on the diagrammatic and mechanical representation of propositions and reasonings was written by which English mathematician? It relates to a diagram of overlapping circles used to depict...
Liverpool Woodcock.
Venn.
Was John Venn, yes. For your picture starter a moment ago, you saw the location of Stirling, where the world's oldest curling stone is currently held in the Stirling Smith Art Gallery and Museum. Your picture bonuses will be maps indicating locations associated with the origins of 3 more Winter Olympic sports. 5 points for each location you can name. First, identify this US state where snowboarding was first established.
Is that between the legs? Illinois?
Illinois. It looks like Illinois, yes.
Yeah, Illinois, I think.
Illinois?
It's Michigan.
Michigan.
Secondly, this city where skeleton sledding was developed.
Don't recognise anything about it whatsoever.
Right, not me.
Any clues?
No.
I think we pass on that one.
Well, at least you're honest. It's St. Moritz. And finally, the city where the first recognised competitive ice hockey team was founded.
Was that Canada somewhere? Montreal, perhaps?
Yeah. Toronto.
Toronto is what
Toronto, isn't it?
Toronto?
It is Montreal. Bad luck. Another side of question. Which 2 initial letters link the names of all of the following? The bishop usually credited with the first translation of the Bible from Greek into Gothic. The longer of the 2 bones in the human body that make up the antebrachium, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the southern part of Australia's Northern Territory, and the capital of Mongolia.
Imperial Maintenance.
U and B?
No, you can buzz Liverpool, but don't confer. Buzz if you want to have a go. No, you were right about Ulaanbaatar, but I'm afraid what I needed to hear was UL for Ulfilas, Ulna, Uluru and Ulaanbaatar. Bad luck. Another starter question now. Yom-e-Takbir, meaning Day of Greatness, is a national holiday that takes place on the 28th of May in which country? It commemorates the country's first successful nuclear weapons tests that took place in 1998 and saw it become the 7th nation to possess nuclear arms.
Liverpool Woodcock.
North Korea?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. And the first in the Islamic world.
Imperial Ahuja.
Iran?
No, it was Pakistan. Another starter question now. What metal is obtained from its ore by the Mond process? Widely used in alloys, this metal can be used as a catalyst to hydrogenate unsaturated fatty acids in the production of margarine, and together with iron, forms the majority of the Earth's core.
Imperial Silcox.
Nickel.
It is nickel, yes. Your 3 bonuses, Imperial, are questions on Italian cinema and colour. Which Italian filmmaker directed the 1970s films 4 Flies on Grey Velvet and Suspiria? His surname is the Italian word for silver.
It's not Fellini or something like that, is it? Fellini, it's the only one I can think of.
I have no idea. But the Italian, yeah, which one is...
Sorry?
I was trying to think, what's the Italian word for silver?
What's the Italian word for silver, anyone? Should we just go for...
Go on.
We'll try Fellini.
No, it's Dario Argento. Described on film critic Roger Ebert's website as a breakthrough picture, Argento's 1975 film Profondo Rosso is known in English by what title?
Something pink.
Well, that's deep red, isn't it? Deep red. That's what it sounds like. Deep red?
Correct. Many of Argento's early works, along with the output of Mario Bava, are often assigned to what genre of Italian crime and suspense films whose name is the Italian for yellow?
Anyone know the Italian for yellow?
Or a film genre? The Italian film genre with yellow.
Do we know yellow in any other languages?
Genre in French. That's
No.
Should we try that?
Yeah.
Amarillo?
No, the Italian for yellow is giallo. Now, let's start a question. What forename is shared by all of the following? The philosopher whose article Gene Juggling sparked a long-lasting debate with Richard Dawkins, the author of the Alexander trilogy of novels, and the author of A Vindication of the Rights of Women.
Liverpool Lim.
Gerald?
No.
Imperial Ahuja.
Mary?
Yes, that's right, as in Mary Midgley Renault, and of course, Jason Clark. Your bonuses, Imperial, are on geographical locations that appear in names on the International Bartenders Association's list of recognised cocktails. In each case, name the cocktail from the description of the place. Let's see how good your student days really were. First, a small island republic bounded to its north by the Johor Strait. Remember, I need the name of a cocktail.
So, is that like a
Hawaii,
tropical...
Bermuda, I don't know any.
Cocktail, so kind of...
It's a cocktail with a country in. Is it?
How can we not think of a cocktail with a country in? I'm thinking of Long Island, iced tea, a tropical...
Come on.
Sex on the beach. Long Island iced tea.
No, it's Singapore Sling.
Oh.
Second, a large island country of the Caribbean whose highest peak is Pico Turquino in the Sierra Maestra range. Again, I need the name of the cocktail.
Jamaica, Barbados, any correct?
What's the one that's
Aruba,
Trinidad,
Martinique, Trinidad. I can't think of a cocktail.
Come on.
Jamaican sling.
It's the Cuba Libre. And finally, the location of West Egg in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. Much of this location forms Suffolk County.
Isn't that a Long Island iced tea?
Correct. Got there in the end. Another starter question, and this is a music round. For your music starter, you'll hear a festive piece of popular music. For 10 points, name the artist.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Liverpool Richie.
Andy Williams?
It is Andy Williams, yes. That was It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams, released on the Andy Williams Christmas album 60 years ago in 1963. The album would be the first of several Christmas albums by Williams, and your music bonuses are 3 more tracks from these albums. This time, for the points, I want you to name the composer of each song. First, originally written as an instrumental piece in 1948.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too.
Something like Moving Berlin. Sorry? Something like Moving Berlin.
Or maybe Cole Porter?
Yeah, I was going to say Cole Porter, but I think...
Cole Porter?
It's Leroy Anderson. Secondly, either of the 2 co-writers on this song from 1945?
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by
Irving Berlin?
No, the 2 co-writers were Mel Tormé and Robert Wells. And finally, released in 1942.
That is Irving Berlin. Sorry? No, I think that is Irving Berlin at last.
Oh, it is?
I think so, yeah.
Irving Berlin.
Got there in the end, didn't you? Yes, well done. It was White Christmas. Fingers or buzzers, here's another starter question. The 1975 Joan Micklin silver film, Hester Street, is notable for having dialogue largely in what language? This is the original language of the short story collection Tevye the Dairyman and the novel The Magician of Lublin by, respectively, Sholem Aleichem and Isaac...
Imperial Army.
Yiddish?
Yiddish is correct, yes. Your bonuses, Imperial, are on people who give their names to mountains on Earth's moon. Name each person from the description. First, a scientist born in Lyon in 1775, widely acknowledged as the founder of the science of electromagnetism, which he called electrodynamics. The SI unit of electric current is named after him.
SI unit of electric current, that's ampere, isn't it?
Ampere.
Ampere.
Ampere is correct. Secondly, a Greek historian and geographer born in the 5th century BCE, known as the father of history for his detailed accounts of the events and causes of the Greco-Persian Wars.
Herodotus. That's the only one I know.
Really?
No idea.
Okay. When was Cicero? Is that completely... Okay, we'll go
I
for...
believe in you, Captain.
No, we'll go Herodotus.
It was Herodotus, yeah.
Oh, so
Finally, a Roman architect and engineer born circa 80 BCE, author of the influential treatise De Architectura, which includes a discussion of how the symmetry and proportion of the human body should guide architectural design.
Second.
what do we think?
What?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci?
Yeah. Do you think that? Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci?
Born 80 BCE.
Oh.
No, it was Vitruvius. Fingers and buzzers, here's another starter question. Issues including plastic pollution and ocean conservation are prominent in the campaigning work of which organisation founded in Cornwall in 1990 and known by the initials SAS?
Imperial Ahuja.
Surfers Against Sewage.
It is Surfers Against Sewage, yes. Your bonuses, Imperial, are 3 questions on an American author. On winning the 2023 Women's Prize for Fiction for Demon Copperhead, which author became the first double winner in the award's 28-year history?
Demon Copperhead.
Don't know. Nothing.
We have to guess.
Margaret Atwood.
Is there anyone? I'll go.
Still writing books.
Demon Copperhead. A.S. Byatt.
No, it was Barbara Kingsolver. In Kingsolver's novel The Poisonwood Bible, which politician is described as a distinguished man who wore real eyeglasses and a small pointy beard? In 1960, he became the first Prime Minister of the then Republic of the Congo.
No idea.
No, don't know.
Sorry. Pass.
It was Lumumba, Patrice Lumumba. Demon Copperhead and Prodigal Summer are novels set in which extensive upland area, spanning 13 states, from southern New York to North Mississippi?
Appalachians. I've no idea.
They're mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK. Appalachians?
Yes, that's right. Well done. Another starter question. Often referred to as Dante Gabriel Rossetti's first major oil painting, the 1849 work, The Girlhood of Mary Virgin, is also said to be the first picture exhibited with which 3 initials inscribed upon it? You may not confer, but you can buzz if you fancy
Liverpool
having a go.
Liam.
PRB.
It is PRB, yes. Well done for King Raphaelite Brotherhood. Your bonuses then are 3 questions on peat bogs and moorland. Which border estuary gives its name to a moss or lowland peat bog north of Carlisle that was the site of a battle in 1542? King James V died a few weeks after it.
That's a long way.
No.
That's a long way
A
north.
long way away, yes.
Bannockburn?
But if it's just north of Carlisle, it might not be as far north as Scotland.
No.
Oh. Any ideas, guys?
No.
Come on.
Go on, you go. Choose what you want.
Flodden.
What?
Flodden, not Culloden.
Culloden.
No, it's Solway. During the 1820s, the peat bog known as Chat Moss was a major obstacle to the construction of a railway between which 2 cities? George Stephenson completed the railway successfully and it opened in 1830.
Leeds and Liverpool. Leeds and Liverpool.
Okay.
Darlington, Newcastle. I don't know.
Darlington, Newcastle
Yeah,
sounds more.
try to,
Darlington and Newcastle?
No, it's Liverpool and Manchester. The A6024 road over Home Moss, an area of moorland in the Peak District, featured significantly on the 6th of July 2014 during which sporting event?
Tour de France?
Yeah.
The Tour de France?
It is the Tour de France, yes. Another starter question now. For your picture starter, you'll see a photograph of a production of a ballet. For 10 points, simply name the ballet.
Imperial Army.
Swan Lake.
No.
Liverpool Tildesley.
Nutcracker.
It is the Nutcracker from Tchaikovsky. Well done.
Well done, well done.
Well done, Joyce. Following on from Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker, performed by the English National Ballet. For your picture bonuses, you'll see 3 more photographs of productions of ballets that, like the Nutcracker, are popular at Christmas time. In each case, simply name the ballet. All 3 are based on fairy tales. First, for 5 points.
Oh.
So what's this then?
Sort of fun, isn't it?
Yes.
Would it be like Daphnis and Chloe or something along those lines?
Okay.
Any idea?
I have no idea. No idea. No.
Daphnis and Chloe?
No, it's a Snow Queen. Second.
So that might be Cinderella, might it?
Yeah.
Yes, Cinderella.
Cinderella?
Correct. And finally?
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Hansel and Gretel.
Well done. Yes, absolutely right. Let's start the question. The life-affirming principle known as amor fati, or love of fate, and the assertion that honesty is our virtue, the last one left to us, are set forth in works by which German philosopher? These being The Gay Science in 1882 and Beyond Good and Evil, published 4 years later.
Imperial Ahuja.
Nietzsche.
It is Nietzsche, of course, yeah. Your bonuses, Imperial, are 3 questions on people who share names with the 3 wise men, or magi, of the Christmas story. Indicted for lying to Congress during the Iran-Contra affair, Caspar Weinberger served as the US Defense Secretary for almost 7 years under which president?
That's the Iran-Contras. So would that be in the 70s? Late 70s? I'm sort of thinking maybe Carter.
Okay.
Carter, Jimmy Carter, Trump maybe.
What's that got to do with the wise men? I'm confused.
We got to... That was quite... Jimmy Carter?
No, it was Reagan. And Caspar, as in Caspar Weinberger, Caspar was the name of one of the Magi. Oh. Melchior Hazard is the father of Dora and Nora Chance in Wise Children, the last novel of which English writer who died in 1992?
The Chance Children. Anyone? Should we just go for a... Nesbit?
No, it's Angela Carter. Balthazar, a young doctor of law, is the masculine alter ego of which female character in Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice?
Which female character? Merchant of Venice. Is that Portia?
Yes.
Portia?
It is Portia, yes, well done. Now start the question. Remade in the 17th century, the coronation crown worn at the point of crowning British monarchs is named after which King of England, who reigned from 1042 to 1066?
Liverpool Woodcock.
Edward.
Which one?
The Confessor.
It was Edward the Confessor, yes. Your bonuses, Liverpool, are on adjectives that have a specific meaning in mathematics. All three answers begin with the same letter. First, what adjective is used formally in mathematics to denote what may informally be called top-heavy fractions? That is, fractions where the numerator is greater than the denominator, such as 4/3 or 7/5.
Vulgar.
Vulgar?
No, vulgar is much too broad, I'm afraid. The term that we needed was improper, as in improper fractions. First coined in this sense in a derogative way by Descartes, what adjective specifically designates the set of numbers comprising the square root of -1 and all real multiples of it?
Is this unreal?
It begins with I.
I, okay.
I can't remember.
Imperfect?
No, I can't remember, I'm sorry.
Come on.
Imperfect.
Bad luck, it's imaginary. Finally... Sorry to cause you such pain, Jim. Finally, what adjective is used in mathematics to denote the set of real numbers that cannot be expressed as a ratio of two integers, such as the square root of 2?
Is that imaginary?
Those are transcendental numbers. Those are transcendental numbers.
But that doesn't start with
I. Oh, doesn't with I.
Imaginary?
No, that was the answer to the last one. It's irrational numbers. Irrational. And at the gong, Liverpool have 80 and Imperial have 110. Well, it's nice to see you guys with a smile on your face. At various times, that seemed quite painful. But you played brilliantly, and at least you knew enough about Irving Berlin to say his name several times and get right in the end. Have you guys enjoyed it? Has it been fun?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well done. I think it's safe to say we will not see you again, for which I'm very, very sorry indeed. Imperial, that was a wonderful and hugely entertaining performance. I'm sad to say the score's not high enough, so we're not going to see you in the next round, which is very sad. We've really enjoyed having you. Thank you so much for playing so well. I hope you can join us next time for the final heat of this Christmas series, but until then, it's goodbye from Liverpool University.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Imperial.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.